Alright everyone, Supreme Kami over here, and today I'm actually going to be attempting to do a beginner guide for you guys over here. There are a lot of comments, just kind of asking me like, can I actually do like a beginner's guide and all that. So that is what I am going to do today. So in terms of how I want to be doing it, I'm actually just going to be like how to actually make your part stronger, because essentially that's pretty much what everyone wants to know, right? How do we make my part stronger? If you're like a new player, for example, you just pretty much have no idea how to like actually get some specific parts, whether you get some specific resources to be upgrading my parts and all that. So in terms of what I'll be using as an example or like a visual demonstration of like how do I get certain parts to like a 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, 6-star, and 7-star, I'll actually be picking something that is within, Dynamis over here. We are going to be using this week's welfare unit, and then we'll just pretty much start from there. I'm pretty much going to be explaining how to get some of your awakening materials, upgrading tools, alteration tools, and then marks. Essentially like the whole package of like how to actually get a part, functional, be kind of good to use it in like just regular content, farming hardships. Like maybe you're struggling in those storyline missions where because like you didn't upgrade certain parts, you didn't do certain aspect of it where you could have done, for example. So that is what we are trying to cover in this video. So most of the items are actually going to be obtainable via your multi-mission coins exchangeable tab right there, and going to be your sniper tab. That is going to be your weekly event, exchangeable tab. So let me just click on this one up here. I'll actually be picking a part for the Dynamis, and then we'll just kind of work our way. Because right now we are only looking at a 3-star, and the 3-star parts, they may not have the highest stats. So in terms of like a new player, they may look at that and think like, oh, this part sucks, because like I see people on Facebook group or Discord, for example, they have parts that are red, or let's say rainbow, for example. I think those are stronger parts. Yes, that's true, but you can definitely upgrade this over here. So that's why we'll be doing like a full demonstration, like a visual demonstration for you guys over here, and just kind of be doing like how to actually make this work over here. So we will definitely be going over to the items over here. So this right here is pretty much going to be like your holy grail to be getting everything. So you guys can see that we have upgrade nippers over here. So this is essentially how you get your part, let's say from level 1 to like level 99, for example. This is pretty much what you'll be using to be upgrading that your parts over there. And then back tab over here, we are going to be taking a look at some of the awakening circuits over here. So this is pretty much how you can unlock like a different level. For example, if we are targeting, let's say one of the part for the Dynamis, you guys can see that that is only a 3-star parts. So in order to, let's say, proceed onto 4-star, 5-star, 6-star, and even 7-star, which this one is not applicable, for example, you definitely going to be needing some of your awakening circuits. So you have your blue version, purple version, gold version, and then red version. So all these colors over here are going to be corresponding to like a different level that you can unlock. So that is definitely something we'll kind of talk about later on as well. Alright, besides that, you are going to be seeing some of these awakening or attribute awakening circuits. So these are pretty much going to be needed when you are upgrading your parts from 5-star to 6-star. In terms of the requirement and then resources, it's going to be a little bit more intense. So that is definitely something you also going to be needing as well. Last but not least, we are going to be also taking a look at the words awakening circuits over here. So this is going to be another crucial items that you'll be needing when you're upgrading your parts of 5-star to 6-star, which will definitely be covering as I do kind of do it myself as well. So after that, seeing how to actually get all these over here, we can kind of backdash a little bit, or kind of go back a little bit and talk about where are some of the items that you can also accumulate from. If we take a look at the multi-mission coins up here, you guys can see that under the item tab, you are pretty much going to be able to get the same thing again. Some more of the attribute awakening circuits, Wartag awakening circuits, and then just some of the other one as well, some of the more generalized ones over here. So more upgrade nippers. So now you guys know where to kind of get your upgrading materials over here, how to actually get the points over here, because right now we are sitting at only 0. So where do we actually get all these stuff over here? Alright, so that's why we are going to hop right into the event tab over here. So we're going to click on this one over here. So right now, currently, there are going to be 2 events that you can clear, and there's so many abundance of, corresponding achievement that you guys can also get extra reward as well. So I'm going to be clicking on this one over here. So this one is going to be able to drop some of your sniper coins over here. So this one is going to be corresponding to exchange for the bi-weekly event over here. So this is something you can be using. So I'm not going to be doing the run right now at the exact time, so just going to be letting you guys know how, like, where you can actually get the item. You guys can also see that there's also some corresponding achievement that you can also get some extra, a little bit more of like a bonus reward as well. So they're pretty much going to be some of your upgrade nippers over here, and then there's also going to be containing some alteration tools, which I'll be going over in just a little bit, just talking about what is alteration, just kind of like briefly touch on that, and then we'll just kind of proceed on from there. So right here, this is pretty much where you can get some of your other reward as well. And then we go back all the way to this menu over here. You guys can see that there's also going to be a multi-mission tab over here. So this one pretty much going to be corresponding to the number 36 multi-mission exchangeable coins over, or the exchangeable tab. So if we do click on one of them, you guys can see that in terms of the drop items, you guys will see this one over here. So this one, I will have to say it's more or less like a second priority. The first priority is definitely going to be clearing the bi-weekly the welfare mission, because that one contains the most amount of resources that you'll be needing to kind of progress your parts and all that good stuff. So definitely do this one, because there are also going to be some achievement that you'll be getting. Going to be getting some build project material, some alteration tool bigs, some energy recovery, and etc. Right? So definitely don't miss out on these over here. You basically just have to clear 12 of these events over here, or the event mission, and then you'll be securing all these rewards over here. So not bad overall. So now that you guys know how to actually get some of these parts, let me actually grab a dynamis part, and then we'll just kind of upgrade from there. Since it's going to be starting from 3 stars, so we'll be jotting down what kind of resources that is needed from upgrading to 4 star, or it's like from 3 star to 4 star, 4 star to 5 star, 5 star to 6 star, and then since 7 star is only limited to a certain amount of pools. So in terms of this week's dynamis, we won't be able to do that. I'll definitely be showcasing off a different parts that is going to be able to go up to 7 star and all that. Alright guys, so I did some light farming in the latest event over here, so I was able to get up to 1,260 coins over here. So what we'll actually be doing, I'm just going to be upgrading one part for you guys as a visual demonstration. So I'm going to be picking the GM beam pistol over here, because that is definitely something we have not seen before. So what I'm actually going to be doing, I'm actually going to be picking, let me see how much parts we need. So this one's going to be a growth ratio of 3, so I will actually be picking up 13 parts. So you guys may be asking right now, why am I picking up specifically 13 parts over here? So the reason I'm only picking up 13 parts over here, or 13 of the same parts, because I'll be feeding in the additional one onto one of the self, because we want to be maxed out as a part rate. So in terms of this game of like, oh, you want to max full box over here. So so let me do a little bit of an explanation on this real quick. So in terms of actually getting to, like, let's say you're not talking about like an event part over here. So let's say you talk about like a summonable part, for example. In order to get this EX skill to like EX skill level 10, for example, you actually need one. You can so there's multiple ways you can do it. You can have, let's say, 12 additional parts that feed into this one specifically, and then you can get why 12 specifically, because you guys can see that the growth ratio right there is 3. So if you're looking at a growth ratio of, let's say, 2, for example, you are going to need 12 parts, and then if you look at growth ratio of 1, then you'll need only 9 parts. So that is why we need 13 parts specifically. So so 1, you can have like duplicate parts to feed into one of it and to get your level up. 2, you can get some upgrade nippers, which they are going to be hard to come by. They are pretty much going to be locked behind spending some pouches, for example. So that's that. The third option is going to be feeding them into the growth hanger. So that is pretty much going to be how to actually fully max them up. So that's that. So let me actually grab the parts from my box, and then we'll hop into actually upgrading it. Okay, so let's actually get started into working the GM beam pistol here. So let me try to find my parts real quick. So gonna be looking at it from the earliest date. So gonna be taking a look at this one over here. So right now, base level 1 3-star, we are looking at only 170 shot attack. So yeah, so you guys are kind of be like, why is it so weak? Like, why would I even want to be using this part? So that is where you're wrong, because we are going to be undergoing massive upgrading. We're going to see this part completely different. So at the end of the day, we will be trying to max out as much as I could. So at the end of the day, we should be closing into that 9,000 right there. So do you guys think 9,000 is pretty strong? I'm pretty sure 9,000 shot attack, pretty much in combination with some of your different parts, should be able to carry you through a lot of events. So don't think this is a 3-star parts like event part, they're weak and all that, but they're actually not. So if you guys properly build up your gun plots over here, you guys should be pretty much good to go. But in terms of this video, we're not even talking about how to actually build it. This video is simply showing you guys how to actually upgrade parts and etc, and how to actually get specific items and all that. So that's that. So let's actually get started into upgrading. So first things first, in terms of how I actually do it, how like kind of like a me kind of way. So I'll actually start out by tuning up. So in terms of tuning up, that is meaning you're upgrading a parts from a 3-star to whatever the next level is. So what are we going to be doing? We are going to be clicking on the tune up tab right there, click on it, and then right here it's going to be listing out the overall parameter after upgrading. So it's going to be requiring some it's going to be requiring the 1-star, 2-star, and 3-star version, and then these are going to be the total the number of resources that is needed. So, and then on top of that, they're also going to be requiring some capital, obviously. So we're going to do one upgrade there. So going to be doing one upgrade right now. So that's that. Obviously you are going to you do have the option of upgrading it directly, but we're not going to be doing that. We'll be doing it incrementally for you guys up here. So right now we are sitting at 4 stars, so looking pretty strong so far. Right now in terms of base 4-star, we are looking at 223 shot attack right there at base level 1, so looking pretty strong. So up next, we are going to be upgrading this one to, or tuning up to, so upgrade, tune up, they're totally different. So let me try to use the right terminology. So in terms of tuning up to a 4-star to a 5-star, now you are going to be needing the 2-star version of the Awakening Circus, 3-star version of the Awakening Circuit, and then 4-star version of the Awakening Circus, needing 12, 6, and 3. So we are going to tune up once again. So right now we are sitting at 5-star finally, and then you guys are seeing that the mark slots are increasing as well. So that is definitely something I will be covering once we get through the whole process. So you guys can wait on that part. So right now we are sitting at 5-star, looking pretty strong. So alright, that's pretty good. So up next we are going to be doing a 6-star Awakening, and you guys can see that you are going to be needing some massive some of your resources over here. So this time around you are going to need some of your the 4-star version of the Awakening Circus, 5-star version of the Awakening Circus, and then you are going to need some specific items over here. So these are essentially, kind of like corresponding to the part typing. So this one is the S attribute, and then in terms of the word text, the word text Awakening Circus, you are going to be needing Gundam type, and then for Desert 5 piece each. Because if we do go back over here, you guys can see that these are going to be the following word tag over here. So that's why in terms of tuning up to a 6-star, that is going to be some items that is going to be needed. So that's why let me do grab 5 of the Gundam type Awakening Circus, and then it will be right back. Okay, so I think it's going to be pretty good to show you guys this process as well. So how am I going to get some of the Gundam type circuits over here? So what we're going to do, I went over to the shop, and then we are going to be clicking on the blueprint over here, and then afterward we are going to go over to the item tab over here, and then you guys can see that there is a W Awakening Circuits, one for your attributes. So you guys see that the exchangeable items earlier, that is how you can, like this one over here. So this is essentially what you can use that ticket right there to exchange for T attribute, for example, if that is what you need. But what we need right now is actually to be exchanging for the Gundam type Awakening circuit over here. So I'm gonna scroll down a little bit over here and then try to find Gundam type, and then it should be somewhere right there. So let me click on that right there, and bam, securing ourselves 5 of these circuits over here. So let me go back to the upgrading page then. Alright, so now we are back over here, so let us proceed on with the upgrading up here. So after you get to the 5-star over here, now we are jumping into 6-star. So you guys can see that I have everything ready, lined up right now. 6 of the Awakening Circuits for the 4-star, 5-star, 3 of the Awakening Circuits were there, And then speed attribute, you need 5 of that, Gundam type 5 of it, and then for desert, and then we are pretty much set. So let me do the final upgrading over here. So we were starting out in terms of the shot attack 170, and then from 3-star to a 6-star, now we are busting out a 413. So that is a pretty strong. Not gonna lie, that is a pretty strong. So after we got everything ready, so what we will need to do now, we are going to be doing the final upgrading to level 99. So okay, so we are set. So what? Wait a minute. Hold up. Why is it only at level 90? Like I thought when I see it right here, right? You guys can see that I can. What? Am I supposed to upgrade this one to level 90? All right, here's the catch, guys. Here's gonna be a catch. So you guys can see, because we're only able to upgrade to level 90, because you guys can see that my portrait level is only 1. So in terms of 6-star, moving 6-star forward, like from in terms of level, in order to upgrade from level 90 to level 99, you'll need to completely max out. So let's say I only have 1 level increase, for example, 1 trade up. So you guys can see that I can upgrade 1. So essentially, in order to upgrade to fully max out level 99, you'll need, obviously max out the portrait there, which we'll be doing right now. So gonna feed all this in, and then bam. So now that is an EXT or portrait level 10, and then we can further increase the level to fully max. So you guys can see that we roughly jump about 300 in stats, so it's a pretty good sizable increase, I would have to say. So we are going to be doing the final upgrading, and then upgrade nipper, I am using the XT version of it, so that is going to be working for all. So that's that 164 from base level 1 to level 99, and that is done. So you guys are looking at this as a pretty good level 99. You guys may be saying it's only at 3,000, so it's not as strong as I anticipated. But there's also going to be one thing that we have not gone over. That is going to be equipping yourself with some set marks over here. So since I don't really have it, so that's why we are going to be rolling for them. So in order to get some marks, we'll be actually going over to this one over here, the one that says the BT right there. Click on this one over here. Alright, so after you have done so, we are going to be taking a look. This is called the builder trainings over here. So what we are going to be doing, we are going to be clicking on the for exchange marks over here. So this one, essentially, you need to kind of basically kind of fill up the calorie over here. So what we'll be doing, we'll definitely be equipping every slot with every dynamis part possible, and then we'll start rolling for them. Alright, so I pretty much built up everything with the dynamis possible. So we have the full set of dynamis, head to the backpack, and then equip it with the G and beam pistol right over here. So now I'm going to be rolling for gold marks specifically. So gold marks is pretty much going to be like the, one of the better version of it. Red mark is simply going to be a little bit too much in my opinion. I would rather say my red marks for limited parts specifically. So gold star for a welfare unit is definitely a very good place to be in. So just gonna be happy to do this. A process we're probably gonna be a few more times, because in terms of the drop rate for the gold is not as frequent as it seems. So one more right there and we were done. So alright, gonna be clicking back on this part over here. So right now we are only sitting at 3,900. So obviously to a lot of people that might seem pretty weak, but we are gonna be doing the final upgrading process. Gonna be equipping with 1. So with 1, we are jumping up to a 5,513, so that's pretty good. Second goal mark, we're jumping up to a 7,088, and then with the final goal mark, that should pretty much place us over the 9,000 range, right? No, only sitting at a 8,663. So, but I mean, that is fairly strong already. So keep that in mind. This is a event parts, and having that ability to go up to 8,000, that is a pretty sweet right there. So bam, we are done. Alright, so in terms of 7 stars, I'm just gonna fill you guys in with a little bit of a detail. So 7-star part is only applicable to any unit that has released in terms of limited units that has released from December until now. And then not to mention build projects. Any build project unit right now has the ability to go up to 7-star, and then that is pretty much it. They have not changed anything where these unit or some of the older unit has the ability to go up to a 7-star. So only unit from December 2021 to now, they are only those will be able to go up to 7-star, and those are only limited to Sokai unit and then Gundam Battle Festival banner unit and build project unit. So that's gonna be pretty much it. So I think that is pretty much gonna be it in terms of this aspect of it. So let me do quickly go over to some parts that is able to go up to alteration, and then kind of parts that is able to go up to a 7-star, and then give you guys the final visual demonstration. And that is gonna be able to conclude kind of, you know, just how to actually upgrade your parts, and then how to actually get some of your resources over here. So this portion is simply going to be talking about alterations over here. So basically I have filtered out my box up here to everything that is within the alteration realm over here. So this is pretty much what we are looking at. So you have something called the L badges over here, and then you have something called just the alteration tool. And then you have something that is going to be called the alteration. Oh, this one is the same because I have more than 1000. I have basically more than 999, so that's why they're separated. And then we have something called the B badges over here, and then we have something called the alteration tool light, and then we have something that is called the alteration tool big, and last but not least we have the alteration tool sub over here. So let me just kind of quickly briefly talk about why should you alterate and why is it important to alterate your parts over here. So in terms of alteration, it is simply, you know, just, you know, long story short, it is to make your part stronger. Stat wise, it's going to be a little bit higher than it's previously, and then in terms of part that has portrait, you'll be able to gain a secondary portrait, and then part that has EX skill, for example, your EX skill power is going to be slightly higher. Even let's say in terms of the actual paper, let's say the ratio is like a D piercing and like an A piercing for it, or A power, for example. Let's say it is not explicitly stated, for example, but once you do alterate a part, it is definitely going to be hitting a little bit harder, just going to be able to output more than it is. So in terms of all these specific items over here, so let's talk about L badges over here, because L badges is pretty much one of the most important and pretty much one of the more widely used over here. So in terms of L badges over here, they comes in like pretty much everything that is like a different naming. For example, they will receive their own individual naming of the L badges over here. So in terms of obtaining L badges, I'm just gonna say there's pretty much no way of actually getting it outside of their initial summoning period. And there's gonna be some special occasion where they do give you, let's say, exchangeable tickets. Let me see if I have any that I can show you guys what they actually are. Let me just kind of hop over to here. So let me just make a quick detour. Okay, so under the special tab over here, you guys gonna see a batch exchange ticket over here. So this is pretty much going to be like the general kind of like an all-in-one tickets where you are able to exchange some of the limited badges up here for like a specific unit. And unfortunately, this list has not been updated since, or in terms of what is contained in the roster, it is something that is from what, 2021, I believe, like early 2021. So pretty much this list is pretty old. So if you talk about some of the newer parts over here, like let's say, oh, some of your 7-star parts specifically, they're not going to be found within this roster. So I mean, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. They give you like an option for it, but at the same time, they're not really offering you like the premium, you know, like some of the better part. So that is going to be the unfortunate factor. So moving back over here, so let me go back to my overall list. So going back to the items, and then going back to the alteration stuff over here. So this is pretty much like these right here. I have a lot. So these are definitely something that a lot of people watching right now should like. They would like, you guys would wish you have all of them, because they're like responsible for alterating, you know, essentially enhancing what part like your parts can really do. So that's that. Up next, we are going to talk about just the alteration tool over here. So this is pretty much going to be like your bare bone of what you are going to be needing in terms of alterating. Most of the part actually does need the alteration tool, specifically this one. Like some of your standard parts that needs it, like you know, alterating your limited parts like your Sokai, Gundam Fest, and even your build project. So this is going to be like mandatory. So this one, in terms of obtaining it, it is going to be fairly easy. This one does have it, you know, for a variety of places, especially in the achievement tab. Definitely do check it out. There's going to be some specific required mission that you need to be clearing. They can get that. And then up next, there's going to be, let's say, the battle circuit. Battle circuit does contain a little bit of it once you do, let's say, complete the whole thing over here. So that's that. Moving over to the B badges over here. So in terms of B badges, this one is responsible for alterate, like when you're gonna use it when you alterate limited part slash that is gonna be Sokai slash Gundam Battle Festival. That is under the limited tab, or excuse me, the permanent tab. Because if we do make another quick detour, if you guys do take a look at the alteration tab over here, you guys can see that there's two separate ones up here. So this one is like the limited. So this one over here is gonna need the limited badges over here. So this is gonna be on this side of it. And then if you're talking about using the B badges, it is simply going to be responsible for, you know, altering some of the part that needs it. So in terms of the one that need B badges, I think it's a fairly small roster, because like everything after that they have pretty much resided over to this roster over here. So let me see if I can find something that needs like a B badges, for example. I'm pretty sure it's like a very big list. Like they have not really used any B badges, for example. So I believe this one, the Gyushin rebate for city needs it. So you guys can see that it's going to be requiring a B badges over here. So this is essentially what it is used for. So it's going to be for limited parts, you know, Sokai's, and then you know, Gundam Fest part that resides under the permanent tab. So that's going to be it. So moving back over to here. Alright, Alteration 2 is up here. And then up next, we are going to talk about the Alteration 2 Lite. So this one, oh, I didn't even talk about, okay, so it's this one. So in terms of this one over here, one way you can obtain this one, I believe, is actually going to be under the crew shop. That is going to be under the exchangeable page. So this one is relatively easy to get. All you need to do is just going to use some of your crew credits. So if you guys are not in a crew, that is going to be a huge factor whether or not you're gonna get some of these tools. So make sure you guys are in a crew, and then you guys can you know, over the time accumulate some of those, you know, crew credits, and you know, just kind of alterate some of your parts. So this one is going to be responsible for, you know, altering some of the welfare parts. So this parts that are actually 3-star and all that. So that's that. And then Alteration 2 Big. So this one, you know, like the name is stated right there, this is going to be responsible for making or using it to alterate some of your big scale parts over here. So this one does kind of require, so obviously in terms of the big scale part, there's going to be some for standards, and then there's some that are going to be under the limited tab as well. So kind of keep that in mind. So this one, one of the easiest way to get this one is actually going to be via doing this week's round. The crew multi-mission over here. So basically you just need to run 12 of those crew multi-mission, and then within those 12 missions achievement, some of the Alteration 2 Big will be contained within that roster as well. And then last but not least, we have this one over here, the Alteration 2 Sub. So this one is simply going to be used to alterate some of the parts that is fine within the premium banner that has been live ever since the latest update. So that one is like simply to alterate the alternative attribute for F91, your EZ8, your Alex Gundam, the NT1, and then the PT guy. No, not the PT guy, only the 4-star one. So excuse me. So those are only the 3 that is needed for the Alteration 2 Sub over here, and that is pretty much it in terms of the alteration up here. So up next, I am going to be doing the alteration, and then just going to be upgrading a 7-star as we do finish out the video over here. Alright, so we hop back into the alteration page over here. So now let me show you guys some of the alterations over here. So we are going to be taking a look at this week's full armor unicorn. Definitely going to be some alterating some of the parts over here. So I'm just going to be picking the head part over here. So in terms of alterating over here, so these right here says like the basic material, low battery. Whoa, okay. So basic material, you're gonna need the part specifically. So let me click on the unicorn head right there. And then up next, here's below gonna be some of the other material that is needed. 5 of the alteration tools. So that is gonna be the general run right there. And then up next, that is gonna be needing the limited badge for the SHB for our unicorn. And last but not least, one piece of the Alteration 2 Big. So after we have, you know, successfully fulfilling all the requirement and then having all the capital required, we can just kind of click on the alter, and then before even altering it, you guys can see that the stat has definitely jumped. So base level 80 in terms of armor, we're sitting at 800, jumped to 1200. Melee attack went from 1100 to 1500. Shot attack went from 3600 to 3900, and then so on and so forth. So that's why in terms of altering, you guys can see that it's going to be powerful. So last thing that I want to show you guys is keep in mind what kind of percentage we're looking at for the base and alterated version. 20%, 30%, and then 30%. And then after we alterate it, so before we even alterate it, we can just kind of do like a preview and see what we are looking at. So speed wise is pretty much going to be the same, and then in terms of the health recovery, that is still remain the same, and then in terms of the shot attack, that went up to 40%. So some of the percentage are definitely going to be changing as you do alterate. It's going to be a little bit more, it's going to increase ever so slightly. So now we are ready to alterate, and let me click on this one over here. So everything is required has been fulfilled, and then we're going to click on yes, and bam. Right, and that is how you can alterate a part, simple as that. So let me show you guys one more quick example over here, a part with a portrait. So we are going to be examining the full armor unicorn torso over here. So prior to alterating, you guys can see that in terms of the portrait, there's only going to be one, so one is listed as of right now. So we're going to do another preview for the torso over here. So after alterating, you guys can see that there's going to be a black border, so you guys can kind of distinguish that. And then in terms of this one over here, since this one is the big scale, a big scale is only applicable after you do the alteration. So a part cannot be big until it's actually alterated. So that is also something you guys can kind of keep in mind. And then after alterating, you guys can see that there's a portrait 1 and portrait 2, and then you guys can see that it has gained a secondary portrait, which allows you to hit harder. So if you subtract that one, for example, you're only looking at a 25%, and then after alterating, you're getting an additional portrait depending on what it is. So simply this one is the all power boosting. So that is pretty much going to be it in terms of the alterating. And then afterward, last but not least, we are going to be doing some 7-star upgrading for you guys, and that is going to be pretty much it. Okay, so upgrading time over here. So I have myself the full armor unicorn head over here. So let me quickly upgrade this one to 6-star first, and then I'll show you guys what are going to be some of the requirement for the 7-star over here. So right now we are looking at it, from 5-star through 6 stars. Here are going to be some of the items that is needed, as we have seen earlier in this video. So we're going to be clicking on the tune-up, and then you are going to be able to get another marks. And right now, after upgrading this one over here, we will be able to go up to fully upgrade this one to level 90. Kind of keep that in mind once again, because I don't really have anything past that EX skill level 1, so that's why I'm pretty much going to be stuck with level 90 as the maximum level I can go up to at this point in time. So that is going to be pretty much it in terms of upgrading it to 5 stars to 6 star. So one additional steps, for the final upgrade, we are going to be upgrading this one to a 6 star to a 7 star. So in terms of upgrading to a 6 star to a 7 star, these are going to be some of the materials that is needed. So this is going to be the first time you're seeing the red version of it. So this is required to upgrade to a 6 star to a 7 star. And in terms of getting the material to upgrade to 6 stars to a 7 star, I think currently it is still a very limited item. So I will not suggest you guys to just blindly upgrade anything to 7 star, just because in terms of all the material is a little bit bothersome to even get them at this point in time, especially this one over here. So other than that, in terms of all the other one are pretty much going to be doubled up. So you're going to be needing 10, 10, 10, and 10. So yep, final upgrade over here, you guys can see that the stat is going to slightly jump up a little bit as well, and then gaining an additional upgrade there. So that is definitely going to be a big contributor to gaining a lot of stats. So I'm going to do the final tune up over here, and then that is going to be pretty much it. So now in terms of our parts, we have transformed this part into a 7 star, and as for the final touch over here, we are going to be setting some marks over here. So right now in terms of the base shot attack, we are looking at almost a 5,000 one digit shy, so it's 4,999. So with one mark, we are jumping into a almost a 7,000. Okay, 6,998, and then two gold marks over here, we are looking at a 8,998, and then with the final mark piece over here, we are jumping up to a 10,997. So with 3 gold marks over here, we are roughly jumping at closing into a 50% jump in stats. So that is pretty much how powerful marks can be. So make sure if you guys do have a lot of those builder training available, for example, definitely do try to equip your part with at least the gold version of it. They will definitely make your part a lot more stronger, and then we're just gonna hit this one right there, and we are set. This is gonna be a done deal part over here. And then last thing we can actually do, we can definitely take this part a step further. We'll go back to the step marks again, and then there's going to be an the awakening tab over here. So what this one essentially do, we can further increase the marks over here to a a red version of it. So I do not, I really do not recommending you guys to put red marks into every part, except for the one that they are going to be very beneficial, because red mark is gonna like it is gonna definitely make your part stat is gonna go skyrocket, for example. So if I equip 3 right now, you guys can see that I have roughly, it's not like really like an incremental jump, for example, like, but it is gonna still make your part out, shine a little bit further. So right now we're sitting at 11,747. So in order to get some of your build tune-up material here, so here are some of this is going to be pretty much the only way you can get them. It's going to be by completing your daily 5 builder training regimen over here. Since I have already done it today, so I could not really show you guys, but essentially you guys are going to do these tasks up here, and then after you do it, it is going to be reward you with the 1-star version of the build tune-up. And then after you acquire 40 of it, you can exchange for 1 gold version of the build of the Mark tune-up. And then that is how I was doing what I did just earlier. So it's gonna roughly take about 8 days to get 40 of it, because we are getting 5 per day, and then 40 is going to be what you need. So it is approximately going to take you 8 days, so maybe one day you miss one of it, so that's that. But 40 is going to be the max, and and then in terms of getting that, it is going to be right underneath the item page up here, and it is going to be under the Mark tune-up page up here. And then since I already have 40 of the alpha version of it, so let me do quickly exchange for 1 additional one, and then that will place me over at 4. So but yeah, that is pretty much going to be it in terms of upgrading the parts. So this is pretty much going to be like a bare bone guide of actually how to get your start up and running. So you guys can see that this part right now is sitting pretty good, 10,997. That is definitely a very respectable kind of stat we're looking at. So I think that is pretty much it in terms of this overall guide, like for beginners specifically, how to upgrade your parts, how to get your specific items, and just talk about some alteration marks and etc. So with that being said, that is pretty much going to be it. If you guys do have any further questions, you guys can definitely let me know that in the comment section below. But with that being said, I will catch you guys on the next one.